Dave Pasch is play-by-play guy for the Arizona Cardinals and a ESPN/ABC NBA play-by-play voice. And he called the Wolves in OKC yesterday. Hey, Dave, it's Paul Allen. Thank you very much for helping the radio show. And despite the local team taking it on the proverbial chin by the champs, what'd you think of the game yesterday, my brother?
Hey, Paul, good to talk to you. I think for a while, if you're a Wolves fan, you're encouraged, but then ultimately the latter half of that third quarter and the fourth quarter looked all too familiar. It looked a little bit like the beginning of the game, which looked a little bit like what we saw against the Clippers and the Magic, where the sense of urgency and the intensity is just not there on the defensive end. And that's concerning because I think from a historical standpoint, the Wolves have been able to turn it on. They did it in the playoffs last year, and 2 years ago they did it in the regular season of the playoffs. And I'm sure the question inside that locker room and in the city is, can they do that again? And I'm not so sure. Obviously, matchups will depend on and will play a role in that, but I'm not sure that you can keep living that way. At some point, you have to mature and get past that, and I'm not sure the Wolves have done that yet.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, beloved SGA, finished with 20, meaning at least 20 points, 128 consecutive games for him. What did you make of his game yesterday?
Well, the thing that's remarkable about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is I really believe this when I say it. I don't think he cares about the streak. I mean, I'm sure maybe a little, but not at the expense of winning or doing what's best for the team. And there were several times he made the right play rather than trying to force a shot. There was a breakaway where he's pointing ahead. A teammate's got the ball, and I'm assuming that SGA feels like, okay, teammate's going to get me the ball because I need to get to 20 points. Instead, he's pointing ahead. Throw it to, I think it was Chet Holmgren in transition to make the right play. And that, that's great leadership. That's great humility. And those are the things that he possesses. You talk to the players, you talk to the coaching staff, they rave about him. And, when it mattered down the stretch in terms of making the right play, he continued to do that. And then, once they were past that and the game was in hand, then he tried to take a few more shots maybe to get to 20. But none of it felt like it was egregious. I never got the sense like, oh man, they're keeping him in to try to get to 20, or they're, he's trying to do this just so he can get to 20. Because again, I'm not sure it's that important to him.
Hey, Dave, I've never been to that arena. Now I'm watching the game yesterday and I'm listening to you call the game. And when Ant started turning it over and the defense got shoddy, and it was an absolute tidal wave of Oklahoma City Thunder momentum. Is that place unbelievably loud? I mean, it just seems like they're right on top of you when things get good for the Thunder.
It does feel very much like a college basketball environment where they are on top of you. They are rarely silent, even if things aren't going well. And I've been doing games there for 20 years, and you go back to when they had Westbrook and Durant, and they were a young team, but they were a final team back in 2012. They were like that then. I mean, they are incredibly supportive. They get it. They understand the game. The way they treat role players tells you they understand the game.
Yeah.
And their importance and, little things that happen over the course of the game. And I think they see this as a rivalry. It's a budding rivalry in the league. They met in the conference finals last year. They could meet again this year. They get it. They understand it. So that is a factor. If you're the road team, and if Oklahoma City gets the best record in the league, and it looks like they will again, the championship has to go through there. So 7-game series, and the Thunder were in 2 of them last year. That game 7 at home was huge. It was big against Denver and big in the finals.
Dave, when Jared McCain, the former Sixer, he hit 5 threes yesterday, and dictated the tempo when they were turning the game around. Is he playing a lot because Jalen Williams isn't playing, or like Lou Dort was a little off yesterday? Like, does McCain generally play a lot?
Well, he has, because Jalen Williams hasn't been back. And I mentioned about the fans understanding role players. When we were there, I think it was his first game. after the trade, and he had a great game. And like as soon as he checks into the game, the fans go nuts because they pay attention. They know that beginning of last year, he was on his way to at least contending to win Rookie of the Year, and then he gets hurt, and he was hurt again earlier this year. I will be curious, especially in the playoffs, his role. There's several guys, what their roles will be on a night-to-night basis when Jalen Williams is back. And it sounded like he's going to be back soon, so they'll get a chance to kind of feel that out. But it's different when you get to the playoffs. Normally coaches shorten their rotation. And I think Mark Daignault will do that. But at the same time, there may be nights where McCain doesn't play and nights where, he's the first guy off the bench. It's just going to depend. But, Sam Presti, the GM's done a great job of identifying talent, and not just that, but how they fit with the organization and the culture. And Jared McCain has fit beautifully.
This is the voice of Dave Pasch.
Fox.
We heard him on ABC yesterday calling Wolves in Oklahoma City. We've also played his highlights before, describing Arizona Cardinals football games. And Dave called all of Kyler Murray's games in Arizona. When things are rolling well with Kyler Murray, what's happening?
Well, it's been a while since that's happened, Paul. The best stretch he played was prior to his injury in 2021 when the Cardinals started 7-0 and 10-2. And that was, I think, really the best stretch of his career. He had probably the best talent around him at that point as well. But at the end of that season, I think when teams figure him out, figure the offense out, I think it's hard for him to adjust. And I still think there is a lot more that you can get out of Kyler Murray, and I'm sure Kevin O'Connell sees that. I'm sure the Vikings as an organization see that there's still a lot left to squeeze out of Kyler Murray to get him to be the player that he could be. Some of that could come down to whether they can get it out of him, but I do think a lot of that comes down to Kyler Murray and, what is he willing to do to get to that level. I think maybe in his mind, he has an idea of what he needs to do, but maybe that does not line up with what the coaches think or the front office thinks. The talent's there. It's always been there. It's the inconsistency. It's, can you beat the good teams? And I think post-injury, there are a lot of questions. And look, he was hurt this year. So 2 of the last 3 years, he's missed most of the year due to injury. So there are a lot more question marks, I think, than answers right now.
I'm glad you said what you said with part of that answer, Dave Pasch, because earlier today, just to clear up some Kyler confusion, Kyler Covenant-related comments, is I laid it out when Sam Darnold got here, okay, and I'm not casting an affront on Arizona Cardinals skill players or coaches. But with Darnold, I was like, all right, well, here's the deal. I mean, to get drafted 3rd overall in a draft, clearly there's something you have that made a lot of teams covet you, okay? And if you think throwing to Robbie Anderson and Tommy Tremble is going to take place here, it's not with Jefferson and Addison and Hawkinson and left tackle Christian Darrisaw. So, I'm not going to compare and contrast Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jordan Addison or DeAndre Hopkins maybe at his best and Justin Jefferson. But having this left tackle and that talent, the talent around him, the way I laid it out was no change to the bet here, man. It's the same thing with Sam Darnold. This is on Kyler Murray. This thing is proven here when it's run the right way by the right people. It gets up and down the field for 400 yards. This coach is really good at what he does. So I put the onus on Kyler Murray, when we get to training camp. You think that's fair?
I think look at some of it. I think the supporting cast there is better than it is here. The offensive line specifically. I know it wasn't a great year for the Vikings, but certainly was better than it was here. And we've done games in Minnesota where it's the Cardinals get trounced, and that offense is humming, and they've got a great staff and a great scheme. I just think ultimately, Paul, when you look at the talent level that is potential versus what has been realized, the scale is not equal. There is still a ton of room for growth. And that's why Minnesota made this move.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost them anything. The Cardinals are paying him. It's a 1-year experiment. And if it goes great, you hit a home run. And look, it went great with Sam Darnold. It's gone great with Baker Mayfield in Tampa and other top picks. So why not roll the dice, see what you've got, and see if he is willing to commit, and if you can get something out of him that another team couldn't. So I think it's a smart move. I get it completely. I'm just not sure it's a slam dunk that it's going to work.
Dave, you're awesome. Last one. I should know this. I apologize. I don't. How are you still calling a lot of college basketball, specifically the Pac-12?
So not really with the Pac-12 going away. No, I did like a handful. I'll do the Final Four for ESPN International, but no, I've not done a ton of college this year.
Are you following it?
I mean, a little bit, not as much as the NBA, but I'm still following it. I have an idea based on the games I've done and the teams I've watched who I think are the best teams. And
sorry to put you in a weird spot. I don't follow it at all, and I'm just trying to get some NCAA bracket tips here.
Yeah.
like how good is Arizona? Do we have any sneaky teams that we like? I don't know. Do you got how good are the Arizona Wildcats, a 1 seed?
I think Arizona could definitely win the national championship. I'd be surprised if they don't get at least to the Elite Eight. I think if they get to the Elite Eight and lose to Purdue, it's possible, but I also could see them winning the whole thing. It's the best team I've seen in person. Again, I've only done a handful of games, but I saw Houston, saw some other teams that are top seeds, saw Arkansas, which I think could be a team because they've got a great point guard that could win some games in the NCAA tournament. But I could see Arizona winning the whole thing.
Hey, man, God bless you and your family. Thank you very much for the time, and I look forward to the next time I get a chance to see you. Okay, David?
All right, man. Sounds good. Take care, brother.
See you. Dave Pasch. He's the radio play-by-play voice for the AZ Cards. And I'm also big spot ESPN, ABC, television, NBA play-by-play voice. Let's venture down another road that analyzes Kyler Murray and the Kyler Covenant. A Minnesotan named Josh Weinfuss. He covers the Cardinals for ESPN, and he joins us next.
It's back. The KFAN Bracket Challenge has returned. You can hit the contest page now. Enter your bracket. First place, $2,000. That's sweet. And not just $2,000, and a 65-inch TV. Plus a perfect bracket could score you $1 million. Time's ticking. Submit today. KFAN.com. Keyword contests. It is driven by Dave Smith Motors, America's only national car dealer.
Let's welcome in a new friend to the 9 to Noon radio show. His name is Josh Weinfuss, and he writes for ESPN and covers the Arizona Cardinals at Josh Weinfuss via X, and he joins us now from the Southwest. Josh, it's Paul Allen, and I just learned via Twitter that either you grew up loving KFAN or you're a Minnesotan and kind of fell into the sports monopoly that is KFAN.
I grew up in Minnesota. I grew up listening to Kevin Harlan calling Wolves games every night. So when I moved to college, went to Indiana for school. So when I left college, I missed out. I left KFAN behind, and I miss it dearly.
What just to paint with a broad brush in Phoenix, Scottsdale, wherever, like what sports radio like down there?
It's interesting. It's not KFAN. I'll say that. It is how do I say this without getting myself in too much trouble? They are very indebted to the local teams. I'll say that, and it's very clear that there are relationships with the radio station in the radio station, I guess. There's only one really big one here in the local team. So it's not as good as it was back home. I'll say that.
I got you, brother. And man, that's really nice to know. Nice meeting you too, Josh. Thank you very much. If you were to speak for Arizona Cardinals fans, how would you summarize the news Kyler Murray has left the team and will become a Minnesota Viking?
You know, it's interesting because I think there's some there's been like this massive love fest with Kyler lately, but at the same time, like people look at his time here as kind of underwhelming, right? He won one playoff, or he went to one playoff game, and they got blown out by the Rams on Monday Night Football back in 2021. He went 38-48-1. A lot of people here don't feel like he lived up to the expectations of being a number one draft pick, rookie of the year, two-time Pro Bowler, all of that. But it also wasn't all his fault, right? But we did see him mature. We saw him grow up in front of our eyes. He's a very different person now than he was when he got here. Very different player, very different leader. But I think if you were to ask people kind of, what their true feelings on Kyler are, they're mixed because of the impact on the field. Like, they didn't win a lot of games, obviously. There's always, it was a roller coaster of a ride here, right? There was, it was, he'd have these great plays, but they wouldn't win games. There was the contract situation. He's done. I think people are realizing kind of what they're missing, right? Like, there's not really a succession plan in place. And I think that people are kind of starting to realize that, hey, maybe we were a little bit better off with Kyler here.
Is Jacoby Brissett favored to be the starter down there next season?
I think so. This offense, I mean, they won one game with him last year at quarterback, but the offense took some significant strides. So I think if you put some pieces around him, then I think he could thrive in this offense. But here's the thing: why people don't talk about, they're like, oh, he went 1-11 as a starter. I was like, yeah, but the defense is giving up 37 points a game. Like if the defense is letting other teams score 37 or 40, like, you're not going to win football games. Doesn't matter who your quarterback is. So I think he has what it takes. I think they've been putting some pieces around him. The defense is key. If they can get the defense going, then I think he has a chance to win some more games here.
Wait a second. I mean, Josh, you have to be good friends with Courtney Cronin, right? Both with ESPN, both IU grads, both loving that Hoosiers football team. I mean, what a year for you guys. How well do you know Courtney?
I know her very well. It's been a wild year. I'm still pinching myself that to see if this actually happened. Like, I'm waiting to wake up one morning and we're not national champions, but that'll never happen. We're national champs for life, and that's been incredible. Do
you think Mendoza eventually will do okay in the NFL?
I do. I think having Tom Brady as a mentor in Vegas will be very helpful for him. I have a very big problem with how the NFL treats young quarterbacks. The reason these guys are drafted high is because the teams are terrible, right? So you take these young guys, you put an entire franchise on their shoulders and say, hey, go win us some games. Well, it's usually not just the quarterback that you have issues with, right? You usually have holes all over your roster. And I think that in order for a young guy to succeed, maybe sitting a year, kind of maybe having some expectations lowered a little bit could be helpful. But I do think he has the personality to succeed. I think he's tough as nails. I think that's going to be huge. And the kid can throw a great ball, right? So you put those three together, it might not be right away. It might not be for a couple of years, but I think eventually he'll be a very good NFL quarterback.
Okay, Josh. So we've heard and/or read myriad takes on this question, and we have you here. You cover the team, so you're as close to the team as anybody. The Arizona Cardinals, why would they eat like $35 million to have Kyler Murray leave?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it was time, right? I think in every relationship, there comes a time, or in most relationships, I should say, that there comes a time when you just you need to move on. And I think that was what it came to here, right? I think it ran its course. I think everyone needed a fresh start. The internal relationship was not great. Kyler, and he saw how this organization treated him last year when he got hurt, and then they made it very clear that Jacoby Brissett was a starter, and they made it known they're not going to bring him back as a starter. I think that really rubbed him the wrong way. It's kind of been a rocky road with this team since he got here, honestly. And then you take into account a new coach, a new system. Mike LaFleur got hired here in February, and I think it's a matter of, do they know, can he fit the system? And obviously Mike LaFleur has his style of quarterback that he likes. But honestly, I don't know how much that factored into it. This could have been a decision way above Mike LaFleur's head.
Right.
But I think it was just time for everyone just to kind of say, you know what, we're going to go our own way.
All right, so Kyler gets that deal. He gets all the money, and it's a ham sandwich deal here, man. So, but you know as well as anybody, sometimes you can have dollars but not have cents. So, should this be eye-opening, or let me phrase it this way: what should be eye-opening to Kyler Murray as he starts his next chapter?
That's a good question. I think what's going to really stand out to him is that there are organizations out there who are prepared to win immediately, right? Like you look at the Vikings facilities, you look at the Vikings roster, the coaching staff, like everything is built to win. And we've seen what they could do, right? We saw a couple of years ago, that the team that they put together with Sam Darnold, but you also see kind of what it's like on a day-to-day basis. And I think that he will see that, you know what? It's not all about the money. It's about a franchise that's built to succeed. And I know one thing that he was looking for in his next team was organizational stability. And I think he feels like he found that in Minnesota.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how that translates on the field.
From what you know, Josh, and via your discernment, is he a hard worker? Is he somebody always trying to solve problems?
Yeah, I think the whole idea of this, independent study clause to me was ridiculous. Here's kind of where it came from, right? People in the organization looked at his numbers on the iPad and saw that he wasn't opening it a lot, if at all, at home. But the problem is that they didn't realize, or they did realize, they just didn't care. They wanted to make it known he was doing all his studying at the facility, right? And then I heard recently that it went like this. What the offense he was running under Cliff Kingsbury was basic math, basic addition, basic subtraction, basic division, right? Like all the basics, right? Well, if you know everything so well, do you have to put in as much time as you do if you don't know it? Well, when the new regime came in with Jonathan Gannon as the head coach and Drew Petzing as the OC, he spent a ton of time studying. So I don't, as someone who's seen him basically, every working day for 7 years, I don't question his work ethic. I don't question his study habits. I think that he relies a lot on his gifted talents, which are far superior than most players in the NFL. But I don't question whether or not he can be an NFL quarterback in terms of working hard, right? Like he said, after the whole independent study clause came out, he called like an impromptu press conference during training camp in 2022, and he said, guys, do you think I can not study and play at quarterback in the NFL? And we're all like, no. He's like, exactly. You have to study. And I think he puts in the work. I do. That's
as good an explanation of that as I've heard in about the last 2.5 weeks. Very well explained by Josh Weinfuss, covers the Arizona Cardinals for ESPN. How well does Kyler Murray identify man and zone, which is key for the running portion of the equation?
I mean, I don't think there's an issue with it. Here's the thing with Kyler. I think, and this was explained to me by someone in the locker room this year, he knows he's either the best athlete on the field or the second best athlete on the field. So he has a tendency to go through his progressions with go to 1, maybe go to 2, and then he realizes he can probably beat a linebacker off the edge, and he takes off. Is that going to fly in Kevin O'Connell's offense? I don't know, right? Are they going to let him do that? I don't know. But that tends to be kind of how he operates. I think he can play. He can do everything. I think he's capable of reading zone, reading man, of finding guys in the middle, finding guys on the edge. He has incredible touch. The thing that a lot of people don't appreciate about him is the kid has an unbelievable arm, right? Like, if he could be a pocket passer and just throw the ball over the yard, he would do it. But he also knows, and teams know, that his legs are a weapon, so they utilize that. But I don't think there's a problem with throwing in zone or man.
He didn't start going under center a bunch until 2024 with Drew Petzing. We went over this pretty hard on a Friday, where, I mean, unless I'm making a mistake here, Josh, I don't think Kyler went under center one time, 2019 and 2020 when he started. So by design under Kingsbury, does he struggle playing under center and turning his back on a defense with play action?
I don't think he struggles. I think, and I think he would admit this. He has admitted this. I think with his size, I think sometimes seeing the field could be an issue if he has to be under center or if he is on the move like that. I think that could be a slight issue. But at the same time, like, if it's a timing route, I think he's fine. but I think it was a massive adjustment going under center. I know they changed his footwork, they changed kind of his drop, they changed his steps, all of that to go under center, and I think that it took him a little while to get used to. So I still think he thrives in the gun. I think it helps him kind of see everything. I think it allows him to kind of make the read quicker than under center, but I don't think he has a problem going under center as we saw the last couple of years.
Time for two more.
Are there common threads with defenses trying to stop him? Like, do they play him a certain way in hopes he gets himself in trouble?
Yes. Well, they tried to. We saw it last year, 2 years ago against Seattle. They were able to cut off the edge better than anyone I've ever seen do it against him. And once that happened, he was bottlenecked. And I think part of that was a him issue. Part of that was a scheme issue. Like they didn't make adjustments to figure out a way to relieve that or alleviate that, I guess. If a team can cut off the edge against him, he's going to have a hard time moving, right? Like, he's going to have to get up the middle. So if your offensive line can't create those holes, he's stuck. But the thing is, if he can get outside, and if he can get outside early in games, and I've never understood why his coaches have not made him move in the first drive a ton, just to kind of put a defense on his heels. If he can get out early, it puts the defense on their heels the entire game because they don't know what he's going to do. But if you can contain the edge against him, it could be a long day for Kyler Murray.
All right, last one. Thank you very much. Should Kyler Murray succeed here with O'Connell as head coach and play caller, and Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Christian Darrisaw, nice defense? I mean, if he stays healthy, should he succeed here?
In one word, yes. And here's why. To me, this is the biggest reason. Having a guy like Justin Jefferson there, he's an all-world talent, and he can catch everything, right? We saw what Kyler did with DeAndre Hopkins in, from 2020 to 2022, right? But you add in the fact that Justin Jefferson is the face of this franchise. So that's another added weight that Kyler does not have to carry. I know it's 1 year, but we also don't know what's going to happen in the future. So if you can kind of put that on Justin Jefferson to be the face of the team and let Kyler do his thing, he's a quiet person. He's naturally quiet. He's been described to me as an introvert, right? That's just who he is as a person. If you can let someone else kind of do the talking and be that face, I think Kyler can operate and work in quiet. I think he could succeed quite a bit.
Josh, that was fantastic. You're awesome, man. Have a wonderful off season, and hopefully we get a chance to catch up somewhere down the road. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yep. See you, bud. Josh Weinfuss, Minnesotan. Grew up listening to KFAN. Who knew? And writes for ESPN and covers the Arizona Cardinals. It's 11:41. The final segment for 9 to noon takes place around the corner, so don't.
Man. I can't wait until tomorrow.
Okay, so earlier in the show, 9 to noon, unveiled, somebody reporting on the X machine that there is a certain running back who the Vikings will be entertaining for their top 30 get together, which takes place in front of the draft, and that name is somebody I'd never heard of. Nordo's an elite ACC mind, so he's probably heard of Damon Claiborne, 5'10", 195 pounds, running back for Wake Forest.
Nope. I'm excited to watch 2 YouTube videos, and as we get closer to the draft, pretend I've watched all of his games.
Honestly, I'm just happy that I didn't call him Desmond Claiborne and recognize it's Demond, kind of like Carlos Lambo. Early in the show. No, Paul, you actually don't need a covenant cleanup with Michigan. They're the 1 seed, but you do need one with Carlos Lambo. Said, all right, that's cool, man. It's up there for speculation and for sponsoring. But all right, so my guy John Harris, our guy John Harris, sideline analyst for the Houston Texans radio network. He has a website called footballtakeover.com. Joins us about 2, 3, 4 times a year to discuss free agency, draft. Always joins us at the Combine. We had a 20-minute interview with John Harris that we played day after I got back from Indianapolis recently. So with his website, footballtakeover.com, very comprehensive when it comes to analysis of players. So what I did was, after I validated that this Damon Claiborne indeed is part of that top 30 meeting.
Yeah.
I went to the footballtakeover.com machine, and here's what John writes about him, very short. But you're going to like the comp. And Harris, it doesn't mean he's right all the time, but a couple of years ago, man, when I ran into him at the Combine and we had all these good quarterbacks in one of the better quarterback drafts in the history of the NFL, you had a lot on Caleb, a lot on Bo, a lot on Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, Drake May. I mean, he went on for 5 minutes explaining why Drake May was the best. And really, I think after 5 or 10 years, it won't even be close. That's what he said. So far, he's right. Drake is the right one to have from that class at this stage. And he's had other draft-related hits 9 to noon. He's just he used to scout for college football teams, man. He's just really good at what he does. So now knowing Showtime's back in the Covenant, got Jordan Mason, and that's where you are as of now.
Yep.
Damon Claiborne. Super patient, followed by bursts of pure explosion.
Okay.
He looks much bigger than he's listed at 5'10". Excellent feet to make highly effective jump cuts, but it's that A to B burst that caught my attention right off the bat. This slow mesh read offense afforded him the opportunity to capitalize on his vision, decision-making, and the aforementioned burst to go through holes. His ability to hit maximum acceleration by his third step is highly impressive. If he spies a hole, you're in trouble, and he's gone. In high school, he was a track star, winning the 2021 Virginia State 100-meter dash and earning runner-up honors in the 200 meters. In off-season testing, he squatted 500 pounds and posted a power clean of 300 pounds. Damon Claiborne, and a comparison to Kenneth Gainwell. There ain't nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. Not everybody can be Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Adrian Peterson, or Jim Brown. But here's the bit. Gainwell, fast. Gainwell, catches. Gainwell plays on third down like Chester Taylor used to here for Peterson.
Yeah.
Because he gets pass protection. So I'm not, this is Team Emmett Johnson.
Right.
Until it's not Team Emmett Johnson.
That's correct.
Who does he, so he has Damon Claiborne as his 7th best running back.
7th best running back.
Best running back. It goes Jeremiah Love first. And the comp there is James Cook, Buffalo's James Cook.
Okay.
Jadarian Price. Wow, he's got Notre Dame backs 1 and 2. They got 2 backs that are that good?
Yeah, the Jadarian Price cat's really good too.
Ooh. The comp there is Travis Etienne.
Okay.
Mike Washington Jr., that's that speedy Arkansas guy that Emmett Johnson, our guy, talked about last week. He has him comped to Rashad White. Katron Allen, Penn State. IMG Academy, his comp is Chicknob. Browns, not Texans, he writes out. He's a mini Nick Chubb. Then Emmett Johnson is his 5th best running back.
Okay.
And he compares him to Travion Henderson. He writes, he's so freaking fast when he gets out in open space. He gets vertical quickly, and his agility and change of direction are a stop on the dime, give you change sort of thing. Dynamically fast, but I really like him in duo runs, whatever those are.
I just wonder when the cliff comes. Jeremiah Love, we're talking about going like top 10, right? Yeah. Well, where's the cliff?
Well,
we're at Jadarian Price.
Right.
Is it a third round where Emmett Johnson's staring us in the face?
Okay, so Jonah Coleman, Washington by way of Arizona or something.
Yeah.
The comp there is Jalen Warren. That wouldn't be a cliff, right?
No.
Damon Claiborne. Kenneth Gainwell.
Gainwell can work in the NFL.
But toes are approaching the cliff.
Yeah. Day 3, like that'd be an early Saturday. Would you say an early Saturday pick for Kenneth Gainwell?
Now? Ooh, what a great question. If you know what you know now, what you needed to know then about Gainwell, where would he be taken? That's a great question, and I think you nailed it. Nicholas Singleton, that is, Penn State. The comp there, Javonte Williams. And we're still not off the cliff.
With Javonte.
Le'Veon Moss, Texas A&M. The comp, Chuba Hubbard. Now we're looking over the edge. Looking to see if there are rocks below it. Chuba's fine. Well, here we go. I'm glad you asked that question. Kalon Black, James, Indiana.
Yeah.
By way of James Madison.
Yep.
The comp, Bahashel Tootin.
Yep. Well, there we go. We found the cliff.
Who the heck is this Tootin for the Jags?
We've identified the bottom, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, that's great. And then the next one is Rasul Faison.
Okay.
I wonder if he's related to Cedric Faison, whatever. Comp there, Cam Akers. All right, I think we found the edge.
We found it.
Hey, thank you for listening to us. We're back at it tomorrow on a Talker Tuesday. For Nordo, I'm Paul Allen. May God bless you and all of your families. Have a wonderful day.
If it's good news or money, leave a message.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.